Hello YouTube, here we are, a short description of the Sumerian accounts of the Anunnaki.
Many of the oldest recovered documents and tablets in the world come from ancient Sumerian accounts, which makes it not at all surprising that so many witness accounts exist from this time that go into vast detail of the mythologies and religions and the ancient Sumerians. One of the most notable accounts in the modern day being their self-proclaimed encounter with the god of their time. The ancient Sumerian gods were described as being large, intelligent beings that looked similar to man, but with the capabilities of flying through the skies on large metal dragons that would breathe out fire as they ascended. In fact, the name of these gods are referred to as the Anunnaki, and their translation of the word
Also known to be reptilian shapeshifters, generally speaking.
it literally means the people from the stars.
There are other races. There are rumored to be amphibians, mantoids, as I've mentioned before, or insectoids, and various degrees and clone-type subspecies of the reptilian races, which would be the Anunnaki.
This has led many modern-day conspiracy theory groups to form the claim that these Anunnaki were nothing more than advanced extraterrestrial life that had made early contact with the human race and helped to evolve them past their Stone Age evolution. Additionally, given the fact that the world's first civilizations are traced back to the ancient Sumerian civilization, this has provided more support for the theory that the advancement with the human race worked hand in hand with that of the encounters with these people from the stars. This has led many to wonder who or what the Anunnaki were, and any scriptures surrounding such beings to be studied religiously in the hopes of uncovering more evidence for this ancient alien hypothesis and the development of the human race during this time.
See, that didn't even fit with the biblical accounts because they refer to the quote-unquote alien species and or multidimensional races as fallen. Like fallen from the sky, as is exactly what Anunnaki means. Fallen from the
because
sky,
it's made with,
or from the stars.
The DNA of the Sumerians. For the longest time, one of the biggest mysteries surrounding that of the ancient Sumerian people had nothing to do with its civilization, culture, or any one of its incredible levels of development, but rather that of the genetic lineage of the people, their origin, and the discovery of any possible modern-day descendants that could be studied to help us better understand that of the ancient Sumerian civilization and their people. Due to a number of conspiracy theory writings, however, there also appeared to be numerous claims from ancient alien researchers that believed that the modern-day descendants of the ancient Sumerian civilization could help to shed proof into that of the ancient alien theory of genetic manipulation with the help of the Anunnaki, their supposed gods.
Telomere 2 shows clear signs to geneticists of having been tampered with. There are already signs of genetic tampering with our DNA on telomere 2, on every human being. It is clear evidence that someone, some species, some little g god, big G god, changed our genetic structure to limit or to adjust, who knows what, for sure. Check with the geneticists on that one. So yeah, you wouldn't have to necessarily find, which I suspect Rh negative to be genetic descendants of the Anunnaki. Anyway, I'll let this continue.
That had come from the stars. Researchers believed that if the modern-day descendants could be found and their DNA could be tested, there would be irrefutable proof that their DNA had been manipulated by their gods in the event to promote the human evolution and possibly provide answers for the ancestral missing link, leading many to spearhead this camp.
So you say, we have all been tampered with by the Anunnaki. Everyone alive today has been tampered with by the Anunnaki. We are all, to one extent or another, genetically related to these reptilian, this reptilian race.
Campaign in the hopes of gathering evidence
And
of
amphibian
extraterrestrial
race was made.
intervention. The problem with this campaign, however, is that the ancient Sumerian civilization was reportedly wiped.
And the Yeti, I believe to be the ones called the Igigi, what we would call Yeti today, or Sasquatch. And those would have been all, we would also genetically be related to them. Because the original account, the Andrehasis, of the rebellion of the Igigi, and it matches with the Yeti, their descriptions, their behaviors and all that. One of their leader, who led the rebellion, was sacrificed to get the DNA to start changing a local species here on Earth that was us at the time into the species we are today.
Out thousands of years ago, before the dawn of the ancient Babylonian society, leading many to believe that perhaps the people of the ancient Sumerian civilization had all perished millennia ago. Luckily for humanity and researchers alike, a number of researchers finally tracked down a group of people in the modern day that are believed to hold the genetic code of the ancient Sumerian people. After archaeologists located the preserved body of an ancient Sumerian prophet that was believed to have survived a massive flood, referred to as Noah, researchers were able to gather DNA from the teeth of the individual and use it to trace any modern-day descendants. This led to researchers uncovering that the last known descendants of the ancient Sumerians in the modern day are that of the marsh Arabs that live secluded from the rest of the world in the marshlands of Arabia. When further testing was done, they proved to be a conclusive match to the ancient Sumerians, leading many to make strange connections with their modern-day society and that of the ancient Sumerian civilization. The most peculiar comparison was that the ancient Sumerians held the tradition that the world had been destroyed by a massive flood, and that their people came from a family that had survived the catastrophe and had mastered the ability to live on the seas. Interestingly enough, the marsh Arabs appeared to be master boatmen, as well as forming several houses and villages floating on the waters of the marshlands. No further anomalous information was found in their DNA. The origin of their language. Though many aspects of the ancient Sumerian origins are shrouded in mystery, there is none more so mysterious than that of the origin and formation of the ancient Sumerian spoken language that is possibly among one of the oldest spoken and written languages in the history of humanity. When the first few written artifacts were gathered from that of the ancient Sumerian civilization, many believed that the spoken language of the ancient civilization was that of Akkadian, a language used by the Semitic people throughout the region, as the written alphabet of cuneiform seemed to have matched the Akkadian writings and styles. Further gathered evidence, however, proved that the language of the people was a distinct language now completely forgotten, with no surviving remnants of the spoken dialect that predated the Akkadian usage, as well as being the first formed written language in history, soon being adopted by the Semitic people and used as a written language for many more millennia after the fall of the ancient Sumerian civilization. This loss of the language have left many experts puzzling over its formation, influence, and possible similar sounding language descendants in the modern day to trace the evolution of language across humanity. Though it was at one time believed that the Akkadian language was similar to that of the Sumerian, given the adoption of cuneiform. It is now known that the language may not have sounded anything alike and seems to be a relic of the past, with no evidence or trace of such a dialect existing in the modern day. Uncovering the mysteries of the language could prove to help researchers to better understand the formation of languages, the evolution of languages over time, as well as the major influences that the ancient Sumerian civilization had, being one of the first ever civilizations to have risen around the world. Their strange creation myth. One of the biggest mysteries of the ancient Sumerian culture appears to be that of the inspiration and tale of their mysterious creation myth that has led to the formation of a number of ancient alien conspiracy groups to have formed in recent years after these ancient scriptures have been accurately uncovered and translated. The reason for the formation of these groups is due to the fact that there appears to be overwhelming truth that an advanced extraterrestrial species made contact with the ancient Sumerian civilization and helped to intervene and manipulate their evolution. According to the ancient Sumerians, their oldest scriptures tell of the earth being inhabited by human-like gods that had come from the stars referred to as the Anunnaki. These Anunnaki made attempts to make the world habitable and quickly began to toil the soil and mine the world for minerals that could be used. After a while, the gods referred that their labour was too great and refused to have to work at such an impossible task on their own. This led to one of the gods proposing to create human beings that could be made in their likeness using the body of another god of whom they could force to work to get the minerals and toil the ground. Originally, the humans that had been created were unable to reproduce and have children as the gods were fearful of them multiplying. However, this quickly changed after two gods granted humans the ability to reproduce, allowing them to also leave the Eden they inhabited, a land that is translated to mean a flat terrain, and quickly went throughout the world. This angered one of the gods, leading to a massive conflict to which one of the gods became the enemy of man, and the other became the ruler of man, and allowed them to be fruitful and multiply over the world. These terms of modifications, creation, and the formation of an Eden have left many wondering instead that perhaps these ancient biblically similar accounts are evidence of aliens having genetically created and modified humans as a slave labour force, only to be given equal rights and abilities that have slowly evolved. The fall of the Sumerians. Despite their influence, power, strange myths, and religions, as well as their incredible dominance in the evolution of humanity throughout these ancient times, it appears that the ancient Sumerian civilization came and went in the same mysterious fashion that the civilization has been shrouded in since its discovery. Though some researchers believe that the ancient Sumerians may have been conquered by the Akkadians, not much is truly known about the ancient civilization, and next to nothing can be gathered as to their origin or their disappearance, leaving humanity to be a species with an unending form of amnesia surrounding our history, creation, and evolution. If these mysteries could ever be uncovered, however, it could prove to be the last missing piece to the puzzle of the nature of existence itself. But what do you all think of these incredible recent Martian discoveries that have left many people wondering the true nature of the planet and these strange discoveries? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below and help us to grow this community.
And I think that sums up a brief history on the Sumerians, touching just super lightly on their creation story there. And you can see some of the statuary that has reptilian or perhaps even feline features to some of the faces of these incredibly tall individuals. And with that introduction to the Sumerians, I will say good day, good night, good morning, whatever the case may be, wherever you are when you see this. Thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Matt out.